This is Larry Janae of CBRE coming to you with my first podcast. Very excited to be doing this. Hope you all enjoy it and get some value out of it. My first podcast is going to be about how to be a great real estate agent, how to be successful in real estate, how to dominate real estate as a real estate broker. I think a lot of people overthink these things, and a lot of people unfortunately underthink these things. They don't put in the work, they don't identify the market, they don't understand the market, and they certainly don't maximize their potential. There's a few key things you can do as a real estate agent to just be uber successful, and everyone's got their own level of success they want to achieve, and I understand that. I really do. I've had multiple levels of failure and success, so I've been on both ends of the spectrum quite recently, in fact, so it's very fresh for me. So there's a few things you have to do if you want to be successful in real estate. A few of the key items are grit, know your market, and put in the work. If you've got grit and you know your market and you put in the work, that's the majority of what you have to do to be successful in real estate. So just to dive in a little bit more on those 3 points, which are critical to anyone's success in this field, the grit part is irreplaceable. You can't replace grit. There's no substitute for just grinding it out day in and day out, loving the process, loving what you do, loving the failures and the successes equally, and learning from them equally. There's just no way around that. You've got to be willing to have 1,000 people say no and just have that one person say yes. If you can get that one yes, then you can get 2 yeses, and you can get 4 yeses, and you can get 8 yeses, and you can get 120 yeses. And that's just how it works. You've got to not be afraid to fail. And when you do fail, you fail hard, you fail fast, and you get back up and you recover as quickly as possible. Grit is one of the biggest things. Grit is one of the biggest traits I see in successful real estate agents. They are just grinders. They are doers. They don't complain. They don't whine. They don't say, woe is me. They don't make excuses. They don't lean on others. They get things done. They get it done quickly and efficiently, and they're beasts about it. And those are the traits I see within the realm of grit in the most successful real estate agents. Knowing your market is so critical. How are you going to convey value to an owner, buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, anyone? How are you going to convey value if you don't know your market? If you don't know who's building what, where, why, how much are they building it for, why are they building it, what does it rent for, what does it sell for on the resale market, what's the typical size range, what are the average size deals getting done, what are the average prices getting done at, what are the average fees per deal, so you can back into your business plan, which I can talk a little bit about in a minute. If you don't know your market, if you don't know what kind of fixtures and finishes and office percent build outs and what properties have restrictions on them for certain types of tenants, and you're going to be spinning your wheels, you're going to be losing assignments, you're going to be spending money and time on getting opportunities that you cannot win. So as you're going through your process, as you're going through your daily grind, you need to be able to convey value to owners. That is your secret weapon. If you can convey value and you can tell them something they don't already know that's going to help them make more money, you will get hired every single time. It's not complicated. It's not hard. You just have to know your market, convey value, and be at the right place at the right time. Knowledge of your market is key. The third thing I wanted to talk about, which I see a lot of very successful real estate agents employ and leverage very effectively, is putting in the work. A lot of the most successful real estate agents that I've come across and watched their careers, both residential, commercial, all ends of the spectrum, high end, low end, doing 2 deals a year, doing 150 deals a year, they all put in the work. They all put in the hours. It depends on how much you want and how fast you want it, right? So if you're the person who is happy making 60 or 80 grand a year, which is probably around what the average realtor makes, 50, 60 grand a year, I think I read an article recently, then you really don't have to put in that much work. You got to do a couple sales a year, a few more leases a year, and you'll probably get pretty close to those numbers. If you want to do something really significant, it takes bigger numbers, takes more volume, and it takes a lot more work. I'm probably an extreme case, but I put in 18 hours a day. I'm asleep from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I see my kids for breakfast, for dinner, but other than that, I am working. I'm trying to innovate. I'm taking my vacancies home with me, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get them full, trying to find ways to get new listings, trying to find gaps in the market, evaluating the market, thinking about different opportunities that are out there, expansion options, who's coming, who's going, who's trading up, who's selling, who's a net buyer. I'm constantly thinking about these things all day, every day, and it's because I love my craft. I love my process. I love what I do. It energizes me and invigorates me. So I don't mind spending 18 hours a day thinking about real estate, thinking about my business, thinking about where I am now, where I want to be in 3, 5, 10 years. I do a lot of that, especially after hours. And like I said, I'm an extreme case, but I have extreme goals and ambitions. So if you want to be uber successful in real estate, if you want to be a highly successful real estate agent, achieving at the highest levels within your market, there's no shortcut to doing that. You've got to just put in the work, grit, knowledge, and work ethic. If you could get those 3 things right, you will be highly successful in this business. Doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you look like, what your pedigree is, where you went to school, who your parents were. None of that matters. Everyone's on the same playing field. If you've got the grit, you've got the knowledge, you've got the work ethic, you can be just as successful or just as big a failure as the guy or girl standing next to you. Now, if you could figure those 3 things out, that's huge. But if you're also likable, if you have great EQ or emotional intelligence, if you come off as someone who is a likable person and you've got those 3 things, well, then you've got it made, because that's huge. People want to do business with people that they like. That's just the way it goes. So if you've got grit, if you have the knowledge, if you're willing to put in the work, and you're kind and courteous and fun to be around, and people like you and respect you, you're going to crush this industry. You're going to crush life. You're going to crush this business, and you're going to be able to build a really dynamic platform that will catapult you into other opportunities you never even thought existed. So I'd love to get your comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this podcast. These are just some of the things that have made a big difference in my career and my life in a short amount of time, and I look forward to hearing from you all.